Let's start this lesson with a quick recap of the words and phrases that we learned in the last lesson. How do you say in French, for me? Pour moi. I think, or in my opinion. Pour moi. Delicious. Délicieux. Extraordinary. Extraordinaire. Beautiful. Beau. Now here's your first word in French for this lesson. Mais. Mais. It means but. Mais. Now, the word mais is spelt M-A-I-S, but you pronounce it as though there isn't an S on the end at all. Well, there's a funny thing about consonants in French. You rarely ever pronounce them when they're on the end of a word. The only consonant you pronounce on the ends of words in French are the letters C, R, F, and L. C, R, F, and L. And you can remember them because they appear in the word careful. So you can call them the careful consonants. C, R, F, and L are the only consonants that you pronounce on the ends of words in French. For example, sac. Sac means bag, and you pronounce the C on the end, sac. Pour. Pour means for, and you can hear the R on the end. The R on the end of a word in French sounds almost like a harsh H sound. Pour. This means bis, and you pronounce the F on the end, this. And normal means normal, and you pronounce the L on the end. So you can pronounce C, R, F, and L, but no other consonants are pronounced on the ends of words in French. So because the word mais ends in an S, you don't pronounce it. So you just say ne for but. How would you say then, it is delicious, but it isn't very good for me? C'est délicieux, mais ce n'est pas très bon pour moi. C'est délicieux, mais ce n'est pas très bon pour moi. Here's your next word in French, and it's one you'll probably have heard before if you've learnt any French. Oui. Oui. It means yes. Oui. So how would you say, yes, it's for me? Oui, c'est pour moi. Oui, c'est pour moi. Yes, it's absolutely delicious. Oui, c'est absolument délicieux. Oui, c'est absolument délicieux. Yes, I think it's good. Oui, pour moi, c'est bon. Oui, pour moi, c'est bon. Here's another common yet useful word in French. Merci. Merci. It means thank you or thanks. Merci. It was this word that taught me something useful in French, and that is that you always emphasize the last syllable of any word. I remember being on holiday in France, and we were waiting to get our passports checked at the airport. I was listening to everybody in the queue as they walked up to the man checking the passports, and you could just tell who was French and who was English by the way they said merci. The English people were saying it merci, merci, and the French were saying it merci, merci. It was only a minor difference, but it was enough of a difference to make it obvious when somebody wasn't French. In French, you always stress the very last syllable of any word. So, because merci has 2 syllables, you stress the last one. You put the emphasis on the si on the end. You say merci rather than merci. So merci. This is the same with any word in French. We've had délicieux, délicieux, which means delicious. You don't say délicieux or délicieux like we say delicious. You say délicieux, so you stress the cieux on the end. Délicieux. We've had ici, ici, so it's not ici, it's ici, so you stress the second part. Absolument, absolument, you stress the ment on the end, so it's not absolument or absolument, it's absolument, absolument. And fantastique, fantastique, so it's not fantastique, like we say in English, fantastic, it's fantastique. You stress the last syllable more than any other. Délicieux, ici, absolument, fantastique. It's just a little thing to note, but if you remember it now, it'll serve you well whenever you learn a new word in French. Always emphasize the last syllable, and you'll instantly sound more French. So we've just said the word merci means thank you or thanks, and you stress the last syllable, merci. So how would you say in French, yes, thank you, it's delicious? Oui, merci, c'est délicieux. Oui, merci, c'est délicieux. So we've had les, which means but, oui, which means yes, and merci means thank you or thanks. How would you say, yes, thank you, it's fantastic? Oui, merci, c'est fantastique. Oui, merci, c'est fantastique. It's very good, thanks. C'est très beau, merci. C'est très beau, merci. Yes, it is for me, thank you. Oui, c'est pour moi, merci. Oui, c'est pour moi, merci. Now, here's a new word for you. Toujours. Toujours. It means always. Toujours. Toujours. So how would you say, it is always fantastic here? C'est toujours fantastique ici. C'est toujours fantastique ici. This isn't always very good here. Ce n'est pas toujours très bon ici. Ce n'est pas toujours très bon ici. I think it's always beautiful here. Pour moi, c'est toujours beau ici. Pour moi, c'est toujours beau ici. So we've just seen that the word ça means that in French, but it's spelt C-A, and there's a little squirrel on the C. The little squirrel underneath the letter C is called a cedilla, and all it does is tell you to pronounce the C like an S. That's why ça is pronounced ça and not ca. So a C with a squiddle on the bottom is called a cedilla, or in French they call it c'est cédille. C'est cédille, which means C, cedilla, c'est cédille. Actually, whilst we're on the topic of letter C, there are a few more interesting things to say. C. The letter C can be pronounced in two ways in French. It can be pronounced like a K or like an S. The way you pronounce it depends on what letter comes after it. C plus E or I equals S. If you see a letter C in front of an E or an I, then you pronounce it like an S. For example, c'est. C'est means it is, c'est. Or cinéma. Cinéma means cinema. Cinéma. So it's a S sound. C plus A, O, U equals K. If you see the letter C in front of an A, an O, or a U, and you pronounce it like a K, so it's a K sound. For example, café. Café means coffee, café. Concombre. Concombre means cucumber, so it's a P, concombre. Or curiosité. Curiosité means curiosity, so it's a P, curiosité. So a C followed by an A, O, or a U is pronounced like a T. Finally, if you see a C with the cedilla or the little squiggle underneath, then you pronounce it like an S. For example, ça. Ça means that. Garçon. Garçon means boy, garçon. So it's a th sound. Façade. Façade means front. Façade. So a C with a cedilla or a C cédille is pronounced like the letter S in French.